so I can remember. Oh.
Ooh. Hello, everyone. Hi. Let us know if you can hear us, if you can see us. Let me go ahead and check on YouTube before we are live. This one was like, are we live?
Are we live? I think so.
Are we
I see
here?
the
I
little
think so
live
too.
thing.
Okay, yeah. We are here. Okay, cool. Hello, everyone. Hi, I see comments. Oh my gosh,
Okay, cool. We
hello.
are.
Hi.
Hello.
Let's see you all. Hello. Oh, I love this username. Okay, cool. Hi. Welcome, everybody, to the September Pick live show for the Crusty Club. Today, we are going to be reading, or oh my God, not reading.
Reading.
Ooh, yeah,
We
we're
should
going
have
to be
read.
reading the book. We're starting it right now at the end of October.
It's like, okay.
We are going to be discussing Ace of Spades. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some reminders for what we're reading this month in October, and then also our November pick. So, this month in October, we are reading All's Well, which is a dark and funny novel about this theater professor who plans to stage one of Shakespeare's most famous plays in order to heal her chronic pain. But the whole book's premise is like, how far is she willing to go? What's going to happen as she's going through this plan? So, if you're reading that with us, I'm really excited to read this. We're going to be having the live show on November 6th at 1 p.m. EST. So you have until like the first weekend of November to read it, and I hope you will join us for that. In November, our book club pick is Tokyo Ever After, which follows a Japanese American teenager who searches for her father only to discover that he is the crown prince of Japan. I've heard this book is super cute. It's been described as like a Princess Diaries type of story, and I really loved that movie, so I'm ready. And then if you want to see what we're reading in December, you can go ahead to the book club's Instagram, which is going to be linked in the bio. I mean, in the like description of this video, which is basically our video bio. So you can see that there as well as the Discord link. So all of that will be in the description.
Woo.
Yes. And now we're going to go into letting the co hosts introduce themselves and share what they are currently reading. And while they're doing that, you guys go ahead and put a red heart in the comments if you read this book so I can kind of see who's read it and who's here to just kind of hang out while we do the non spoiler chat. So you guys can go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Oh, okay. I'll go first. Hello, everyone. My name is Joel, and I run the booktube channel Fictional Fates, where I just basically post whatever I want when I want, and it's a vibe. Currently, I just finished my reread of Evelina by Frances Burney for one of my classes, and I'm currently working my way through Idols of the King by Alfred Tennyson, which is like this King Arthur mythology book that takes some of like the original Le Morte d'Arthur and like kind of changes it a bit. It's interesting to say the least. Other than like university readings, at the moment, I'm hopefully going to be starting The Trials of Apollo this week, which should be very exciting, and doing my vlog for that. So anyone who like watches the Reading Their Own Verse series will know that that will be coming very soon. So yeah, that's basically me.
Hi, my name's Tianna. I use she, her pronouns. You can call me T. I make bookish content on the internet, sometimes Netflix content that might make you laugh, cry, dealer's choice. On Twitter, I'm pretty off the cuff. I like to, yell at Republicans on the internet. Instagram, I overshare a lot on that platform. So if you want to see some oversharing, enjoy. Currently, I'm a history major at Temple University in Philadelphia. I am looking at my master's degree program right now. Fun time.
Oh, master's degrees are fun. So much fun.
I'm currently reading like 7 books right now, but I just finished Lessons of Vengeance, and the heebie-jeebies were felt. We liked it.
Wow.
I'm currently watching. What am I watching? A lot of stuff, but yeah, that's me.
I love the like very confident. I'm currently watching. What am I watching? A lot.
A lot of stuff.
A lot.
Everyone Sal on Twitter is like, you need to finish Vincenzo, and I'm like, I know. I started it in the summer. I'm not going to finish it. That shit is long as hell. But one day, I will say I can finish Vincenzo.
Well, I love that for you. As you guys know, I'm Chanel, and I haven't posted a video in quite some time because my master's program has been eating me up. and life has been eating me up, but I'll be back soon and I will be doing a bunch. I have so many ideas for like themed videos and like movie stuff, so stay tuned. But that's it for me. Right now I'm reading We Unleashed the Merciless Storm, The Love Hypothesis, and also The Death of Jane Lawrence. Those are like different genres. Like one's fantasy, one's romance, and then the other one's like, I guess like a thriller, like weird. I don't even know if I would consider it a thriller. It's like a weird mystery-ish type of book. So that's what I am reading at the moment. If you guys want to put in the comments what you're reading at the moment and you want to share that with us, definitely do that.
Suspense.
Yeah, I think it's like, have you read it?
No, I know some of my friends that have though and have really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So
it's so good so far. Like I love the main character, Jane. She's so interesting and weird. Like I just love her character.
Adding it to my list.
Yeah, it's really good. And I know Kayla, I'm reading it because I'm co-hosting for the Literally Dead Book Club in November. I think that's the book club pick for November. So very excited for that.
Amazing.
So now that we've kind of talked about what we're reading and the co-hosts have introduced themselves, don't forget you can also check out their channel, Instagram, whatever in the description, because I've linked that stuff so you can go and follow them, check out their content, all of that. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you all kind of a little summary of Ace of Spades in case anyone here hasn't read it. I see a lot of hearts, so I'm assuming these are all people who have read it because some of the hearts look black on my computer. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's like I've read it or if it's just my laptop. Okay, so Ace of Spades basically follows our two main characters, Chiamaka and Devon, as they are students at this like elite school and they're just living their happy lives. Well, we don't want to say happy. They're living their lives. And then all of a sudden, this person named Aces is like ruining their life and spreading it's basically Gossip Girl, spreading gossip, trying to ruin everything for them. And both of them are at the time of their high school career where they are worrying about college and worrying about getting to the next level. And it's a really big deal for their name to be defamed and for them to be all over school, all types of gossip happening. So if you like gossip, you like tea, you like tension, this is the book for you if you haven't read it because there's so much to be said. So yeah, that's a little summary of the book. It's super chaotic because I felt so many feelings reading this. But yes, if you haven't read it, go pick it up. Anyway,
let's unpack this.
Yeah, I'm like, let's unpack this book. Let's first see what people are reading. Follow Me to the Ground. Follow Me to Ground. I have not read about this book ever. That's interesting. The Grace Here. I think I own this book.
I do not.
I think this is the one about a group of girls or something.
I'm very not a literary fiction type of
Yeah. You're like, not I.
Not for me.
Hi, How. Daisy Jones. I hope that book gives you what it didn't give me.
I'm scared.
I have not read that yet.
I support everybody who attempts.
Not that.
I heard if you read the audiobook, you might have liked the book more, but if you just
read the audiobook.
Oh.
But that's kind of like me in A Dowry of Blood. Like, I'm happy for those that like it.
I left that.
Wait, the vampire book that everyone loves?
Yeah.
I heard Erin started it, and I don't know how she felt about it at the end of it. So I have to get back with her.
I picked that book up, and I remember I was reading it, and I was like,
wait, I think we DM'd each other about it.
Yeah. We were like, this book is saying a lot and nothing at the same time.
Literally.
Oh my God, manga. We love to see it.
Wait, what manga?
We do.
Happiness does not make an appearance.
Nope.
In Follow Me to Ground. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh gosh.
Okay. I don't know which book you're talking about, but both of them I didn't like, so I support you. Also, I love that you love Daisy Jones. I feel like I'm gonna enjoy the Daisy Jones TV show or like whatever the adaptation they're making because I wanted it to have certain vibes and it just didn't.
Yeah.
I'm sick of hearing about Daisy all the time.
I think the vibes will translate better on screen.
What are you saying, Joe?
I think the vibes will probably translate better on screen.
Yeah.
And then hopefully it'll be better for you.
Yeah.
But who knows? With these writers and showed up adaptations, they can't meet the mark sometimes, and it's very funny.
Yeah, I think some adaptations have been really good. Like I liked the Little Fires Everywhere one. I liked the one I just saw, Behind Her Eyes. I like You. I think it just depends on a lot of things. So it wasn't giving.
It wasn't giving what it was supposed to give.
What it was supposed to give enough. Highest.
That's so funny. Okay, let's talk about our ratings / initial thoughts. This part of the live show is going to be spoiler free. So if you haven't read it, you can still stay. I'll let you guys know when we're getting into spoilers. But do you guys want to share what your ratings were and then your initial / overall thoughts?
Cool.
Who wants to go first?
You can go first since I went first last time.
Okay, can I regale them about how I read this book real quick? Because I was in the hospital with my mom. I'm sitting in my car, feet up on the dashboard, just like, oh, spooky season, where she at? It's mid-August. And I'm literally like pissing my pants, going my pants. But I like it when a book can make me feel that way, because I am a scaredy cat, yes, but like if you make me feel that in a book, wow. So I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. The experience is immaculate. Initial thoughts before going into it, I was like, Get Out meets Gospel Girl. I didn't see Get Out because I'm a pussy ass bitch. Gospel Girl, I ate that shit up. So I'm just like, oh, I see where this is going. I'm not gonna get into characters, but right now. But at first I was like, some characters kick rocks. Don't. But those were my initial thoughts before finishing the book.
Cool. For me, I read this as an arc months ago. It was a while ago. But like I just remember like being really like it gave me flashbacks to high school. And I was like, I'm reliving this right now. And especially because like it just gave me those like just the feels, and I was like, I just vibe with this book so well, but on a level where I just can relate to the pain and relate to like things. I ended up giving 5 out of 5 stars, obviously, because it's just such a good book. And like I think my initial thoughts going into it was just like Get Out, Gossip Girl, like a really strong combination. And it was just one that I think the writing as well was just like really well done and well executed. And so I just, yeah, it was great. I was just like, oh, but also happiness. Yeah. There's not a lot of that, but yeah.
Yeah, I also gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. When I picked up the book, all I heard was Gossip Girl, Get Out, and I've seen both, and I've loved both, and so I was like, because there's a lot of books that get the Get Out tag that are not giving Get Out.
Yeah, the Black Girl.
It's the right effect.
Right. That's a perfect example.
Stop.
That's a perfect example of that. Because yeah. Wishing anybody who loved that book so well. But I didn't even. That's the thing. I didn't even read this book. Like I didn't even read that book. I got the secondhand. Unfortunately, the secondhand experience of reading that book, because my friend Monet was reading and she hated it so much that she made us literally read sections of the book, and I was like, I can't do this.
It was my book club's book pick for, oh my god, what month was it? August. And like I read it and initially I was like, oh, this is okay. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, actually plot wise, this doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, the idea is there. The execution.
Not
it reminded me of that like Bad Weave movie, the horror movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that reminds me of that.
That's what
why did her hair go in her coochie parts and eat up her period blood?
I haven't seen the movie and now I shipped. I will be staying away.
He has a video on that movie and it is top tier. But
that's the video that I watched, and I remember I looked up the movie and I was like, this can't be real.
Oh, it's real.
They have the same exact ending too. Like the book and that movie both have the same like overall theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, including the grease, everything. I was like, y'all are not leaving
copied off of who?
Blue Cream alone. Like
Copied off of who?
it was a moment. But that's why when I went into Ace of Spades, I was like, is this going to give what it says it's going to give?
Right.
And then I remember I followed Faridah on Instagram, and I was seeing her stories, and I was like, oh, it's about to give.
It's gonna give. I remember because I think you responded to my like Instagram story, like I think promoting Ace of Spades, and you're like, a Nigerian author,
right?
You're like, and I was like, yes,
right. As soon as I saw that she was posting Blair Waldorf in her stories, and she was Nigerian, I was like, oh, it's gonna give. I will not have edges.
I'm happy that the publisher put so much like marketing behind this book.
Oh, literally.
It could have easily been swept under the rug, and I'm so glad it didn't. And I think I was in Target one day getting back from the hospital, and I see the book. I'm like, I gotta DM for Tianna. I gotta show her that it's in Target.
The marketing of this book, the cover,
well, covers,
character art.
No, yes, too.
Right, the two covers, the character art, the marketing,
and giving it to readers that would do it justice. Is what I feel like.
Literally, like I just feel like every aspect of Ace of Spades, like PR and everything, that's not even like irrelevant to why I give the book 5 stars. But I just feel like every aspect of how this book was communicated, like how this book was shown, how this book was like. When I saw that cover, I said, "There are two
of us,
not just one, but
two." And it also made me think too about how many books we have that follow Black male characters.
Yeah,
especially
hardly any
Black male characters that are like darker skinned, like,
and also not the villain.
That part, that are soft,
all
that part.
Yes,
because I was like, so that alone, you could have told me this book was bad, and I would have still bought it. I would have still bought it and that book cover. Because when I bought that book, and here's the thing, I don't typically like pre-order books. I'm not like, I will read a book for free first before I buy it. So most of the books I own, I've already like read. But when I saw that book, I said, I am pre-ordering that. And whatever it is, it will sit on my shelf facing outward. Whatever is in that book, it will be cemented.
I arranged my whole red shelf for this book. I'm not kidding.
Because the cover, everything's giving. Anyway,
I still don't even own the US edition. I need to get on that.
Dude, I need to get the UK edition.
Amazing. Amazing.
It's just
I own like 3 copies of the UK edition.
I just feel like they did so well on both fronts. And again, that's not like relevant to why I gave it 5 stars. But when I like entered the book, I was like, okay, I'm expecting it to give what they said. Also, I bought the audiobook.
Like the $20 audiobook?
Well, I used my dad's Audible, but it was bought. It was bought. I pressed buy. And that's another thing that I try not to do. So I gave my heart to this book, and I was not disappointed.
And another thing about audiobooks that I've noticed, I remember reading Legendborn, and I'm from the South, just a generalization. And people were like, well, I didn't like the narrator because of her accent. I'm like, well, I speak like that. So, sorry. With this book, I was like, wait, they invested money also in the narrators, because narrators are a big thing for me, because I listen to audiobooks all the time. So I was like, oh, wait. Thank you. You
exactly.
put some good actors for this. I appreciate it. Period. Poo. I was happy.
Exactly. Like their voices were just exactly chef's kiss. So yeah, my initial thoughts were like, okay, this is gonna give whatever. Entered the book. It gave.
Yeah.
It gave. There were some parts that I was like, what's going to happen? And we'll talk about that as we go through, but it was amazing. It was so good. I loved it. Wow. Okay. We just did like a whole tangent, but let me see what
we love it.
Yes. Like this book, I would say like Ace of Spades and then Addie LaRue are like my top books of the year for different reasons. Joel is like
Addie LaRue.
I have a question about that. Because I talked about that book too.
No, it's the fact that people are still pressed on about my Goodreads review, and I'm like, it's literally been 10 months.
As somebody who gave that book 5 stars, like Addie LaRue, or somebody who gave that book 5 stars and was literally coughing and spitting and throwing up while reading it. Like, my arc is literally curly because I cried so much reading it. I 100% agreed with your review. I was sending that review to everybody. I was like, have y'all seen what Joel said? Have y'all seen what Joel said? Because he was right.
I was like, oh, I just wanted like 1 or 2 more people of color, maybe Addie LaRue, to go to another country. And then people were like, why are you making it so much about race? And I was like, I'm literally not.
I feel like this is the thing. I feel like when you are a person of color, especially if you're a Black person, it is impossible to not think about race in every context. It's impossible because your racial identity is the first thing people see.
Yeah.
Like, so I always find it funny when people are like, why are you making it about race? Like,
it's like, you're the one that's making it about race, not me.
Right. So that's always interesting. But like, yeah, Ace of Spades, amazing. We are now going to be getting into the spoilers. So while I put up these comments, if you haven't read the book, now's a good time for you to dip, for you to buy.
Make a banana run split.
The bad movie. Okay, so let's see what people are saying. I haven't rated this book, but I think it's gonna be 4 or 4.5 stars. That's awesome. I gave it 5 stars.
Not to see
5
it.
stars. Okay, we're going to talk about that because I want to hear what your thoughts are.
I've heard the same about the 4 and 5.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm reading Joel's review. Sorry.
5 out of 5.
I'm nosy.
It's fine.
It's the same as the White Smoke, and they both live. Oh, okay, cool. I haven't read White Smoke yet.
No, same.
Is it scary? Because I'm not gonna read it if it's scary.
I haven't read anything from Angie Thomas. Wait, that's the author.
Oh, Angie Thomas wrote it?
No, I thought it was Tiffany D. Jackson.
Wait, is it?
I think so. I'll double check.
Oh, it is Tiffany D. Jackson. I felt like okay, yeah. No, it is Tiffany D. Jackson, yeah. But I haven't read anything from her either.
I read Grown. Grown was okay. It was. I had mixed feelings about Grown.
I don't think Grown would be for me. So
for what?
Grown.
My aunt gifted that to my middle sister. We're Irish twins, and for me, Grown. We'll talk about this another thing. I just don't think it was I don't think it was marketed towards the right audience.
I agree. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm. Which cover do you guys prefer for Ace of Spades?
Joe, where's your cover? Oh, you're at home. Damn it.
No, I'm not home. I like both covers, but purely because I like the UK cover. I think I like the US cover purely because it looks like a playing card and it's great. But I love the UK cover because it just gives I don't know, it just gives that slight unsettling vibe that like the book kind of permeates throughout the novel, and it's just Also, I got a cookie with the cover on, so it was great.
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick because I think that the US cover does so well in like the representation of what the people in the book are like, and I also really like the playing card, but I do agree that the UK one just makes you feel so uncomfortable that you're like, oh, something here is dark. Whereas the US one just kind of seems a little bit happier and like a little bit more like, oh, it's going to be a joyful story in a sense.
And then it kind of does give it does unsettle you a little, I think, purely because of like the playing card and the way that it looks as a whole. It's kind of like it gives you that like preppy high school vibe about it that you're like, something's gonna go down with this. I think Ace of the US cover of Ace of Spades is like really beautiful, and it's like I'm keeping that for reference when eventually I do like my book cover, and I'm like, I want something like this.
I think the US one is like, ooh, vibes, goals, but the UK one I think represents the story a lot more because Ace of Spades is not like, oh my God, we're getting in here, it's gonna be so cute and happy. We're gonna be living. No, it's like quite disturbing. So Tiffany D. Jackson. Not everyone being like, I'm gonna go read Joel's review. Yeah, Joel's review was so good. And again, as somebody who was literally like, I was like, let me make a Goodreads account real quick so I can like this.
Now you make an entire Goodreads account.
I was like, I'm kind of tempted, so I can just comment on this. But I was like, instead, let me just send Joel's review to everyone I know so they can go read it. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I honestly don't remember seeing many like Black reviewers with like arcs and stuff of grown, but maybe that's because I just didn't see them. So maybe that touches on what you guys said about
I
that.
think I was sent an arc of Grown,
Mhm.
but I don't know if it was because someone got in touch with me and like was like, "Hey, I think you'd like I'm a white reviewer and I'll send it to you," or if the publisher actually sent it to me.
Mhm.
It might have been the former though.
Yeah. Okay, the US version. Yeah, the US version is super cute.
Mhm.
Okay, we're gonna get into spoilers now, like I said. So my first question is, at the beginning of the book, we meet Chiamaka and Devon. What were your first impressions of the two characters? Yes, Tianna.
Go.
I wanted to rock Chiamaka's shit, okay? Like, she's so aware and yet unaware at the same goddamn time. She's aware that her crush is a sleuth-sayer, a silver tongue, can talk his way into anything. And yet here we are, not seeing 10 paces ahead that he's doing the same thing to you. She's not even digmatized yet. Or I guess she is digmatized. So I'm just like, baby girl.
What is that?
Can we take a step back? Can we do some reflective work? And then with Devin, I saw so much of myself in Devin as a senior. I went to high school through the application process. I was stressed out for no goddamn reason when I shouldn't have been. I feel very secure in my studies now. And with him, I'm just like, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay.
Oh, this comment is killing me. I'm sorry. I did not mean to interrupt you, but I saw
No,
this.
I'm not going to get Yamaka some glasses, okay? She wouldn't borrow mine because she's at 2021.
You know, Chiamaka would be making content on TikTok about fashion and being like, I'm cuter than you, but all my friends are fake and I have no idea.
Yeah, literally. She would literally have a viral TikTok account.
Right. Sorry, Tianna, go on.
No, you're fine. And I think, but going back to Chimaka, you're supposed to not like her a little bit. You're supposed to have something like, girl, no, nah. And I think you're supposed to like, Devin's supposed to feel for him because he wants to like succeed, support his mom, support his brothers. But at the same time, you're just like, dude, you're stressing yourself out. Stress keeps you depressed. We got to get sunshine before we can have some rainbows, yes. But I felt so bad for him because I'm just like, you're going to be okay. It all works out in the end. Hindsight is 2020, but go get some glasses living in the future or in the present because it's not fun. Stressing out for damn reason. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the initial Chiamaka and Devin.
Yeah, for me, Devin kind of reminded me a lot of my younger self. I was literally like, you just need to stop, take a breather, and just calm down. Like, it's not the end of the world, and it's not like it's gonna, like, everything is piling up on top of you, but like, you literally just need to like write everything out. And I was just like, I like almost was just like, this is a lot for me at this point, like, because I remember going through like the university application process and like just feeling just like powerless in a way, purely because it's kind of like everything's out of my hands and it's like up to chance. And I don't know, I kind of felt that with both of like Devin in the beginning because of the way that he's just like, I need to do all of this shit. Chiamaka, yeah, I heavily agree with T, where it's like we kind of aren't supposed to like her in the beginning, but we can't help but feel like admiration because the way that she like girl bosses. And then of course it's kind of like she can't see 3 steps ahead, like that comment said. So it's kind of like you need to be more aware of the bigger things that are going on. So yeah,
I felt similarly. So entering the book, my favorite character from Gossip Girl was Blair. So entering this book, I was like, I want her to be mean. Like, I'm so sick of books being like, this character is a mean girl, and then you enter the book and they're like sweet but just slightly sassy.
Yeah, or they're like mean, but only to like
one person.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm a nice person actually.
No, and then she was like, the girl trying to give her coffee. She was like, I don't bother to remember her name because she needs to learn the hard way. I'm like, you were that someone giving someone coffee at some point. You had to learn the ropes of your high school, figure it out. So when I look at her, mind you, Southerner. So like I have Southern hospitality. I'm doing a nice never when I meet. So I'm just like, ciao, bump out of here. Like I didn't get the whole.
It's funny that you mentioned that coffee scene because that coffee scene is what made me really like Chiamaka and what made me really respect Faridah's like characterization of her character because like that scene is exactly something that happens in Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
Like in Gossip Girl, when people bring Blair coffee, she's like, "Thanks, whoever you are."
Yeah. I again back to writing style. I love that we did a lot of showing. A lot of characterization, no telling. I can't tell you how many books I've read. It's like, well, I'm supposed to be like this. Like, it's my child. I'm like, okay, well, you can show that in flashbacks and like dialogue. You don't have to just tell. Show me.
Yeah, I feel like she just did perfect showing what the like even from the like first scene where we're at the like is it the prefect something?
Prefix, yeah.
Yeah.
Prefix. I don't know why.
I was like, British.
Prefix, yeah.
I was like, British.
Head boy, head girl.
Is it spelled? Right. Is it spelled prefect or is it spelled perfect?
Prefect, so PREFECT.
Yeah, so like when they were talking about the head boy, head girl thing, even from that scene, the way both Devon and Chiamaka react is just like, I loved it so much because you can see from the moment that you start the book what type of people they're going to be. So like my first impressions with them are like, I like this because I don't have to like wonder, oh, what type of character is this going to be? I don't have to constantly hear them. Because one of the things that I don't like is when I read a book and I constantly hear a character be like, I'm so mean. I'm so mean. I'm so mean. I'm going to be mean. Like,
it's happening a lot to me at the moment because I'm reading like the Le Morte d'Arthur, like the 12th century thing, and like sorry, this is going on a bit of a tangent, but like the Sir Walter, is that him? I don't have no idea. But basically the author keeps going like, Lancelot's the best knight in all the land, Lancelot. And it's just, and it's basically, my lecturer was like, they're kind of just like anxious about the roles of these characters and like reinforcing it because they're not, they're very like lacking confident in their writing ability. So it's like the fact that like we don't get that with Faridah. Faridah's just kind of like, you're going to know who these characters are from the very moment you meet them. And it's like the fact that like we don't get like that repetition of I'm so mean really shows a confidence in her own writing ability.
Yeah, I was about to say that. You could tell she is super confident, even if she like, because you know how sometimes you might give up a vibe that you might not have, but like Faridah's writing, you're like, dang, this person is confident.
You can tell like so much work went into this book to perfect it and to refine it into like this gem. And
I reminded myself it was a debut. I was like, wait, whoa.
Right.
Literally.
Right. Because here's the thing, like I feel like even to the people who did not enjoy the book, I feel like her writing is just so confident and secure. Like she's so good at writing characters.
Yeah.
And I'm not somebody who usually cares about characters, but I was just like, wow.
Literally.
Oh, so wait, can I ask, are we like a plot character's world? Or are we like, how do we categorize our once in a book for all of us here?
I like plot more. Well, I tend to, like if I read a book with like absolutely no plot, if it's like for example, Addie LaRue, that like, plot where it has to be like a subject, like no plot in Addie LaRue, subject depression. Okay, cool. I'm rocking with you. 5 stars. But if it's like no plot anywhere and I have no clue anything and the characters are boring, we can't do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just really like plot.
Yeah. I can forgive a bad plot if it has good characters, but I can't forgive a good plot if it has bad characters.
Okay.
So interesting. Because I'm like your characters literally are carrying your plot. So if your plot is shit, I mean, if your characters are shit, I don't care how good the plot is. I just can't.
As in like people or like they're just badly written?
Badly written.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, if they're bad as people and they're written well as like bad people, like I can, like that was like my thing with The Secret History. Like I really liked how bad the characters were. I just didn't vibe with them at some points because of the writing. So,
yeah, Secret History literally put me to sleep. Literally, I actually fell asleep.
I don't think you like Atlas 6, but Atlas 6 really said foot on the gas, no pit stops. And I loved it.
I still need to read that.
Yeah,
I think you like it.
When I said I trusted no one in this book, I was side-eyeing everyone.
Yeah.
I feel like, let me see these comments first because that's like relevant to my next question. They're so the fact that she's a college student.
Yeah. I was
literally.
How do you find time between being depressed about college, procrastinating work, and then writing your own work?
Right.
Me right now.
Right. Also, this statement is going to come into play later because I'm just so excited. All these comments are so. Oh, I'm getting vibes. I'm getting vibes. Yeah, I agree with Joel too because I always struggle. Like, do I like plot more? Do I like characters more? I feel like sometimes if I'm reading a book with a really good plot and the characters are barely there, I'm fine because I'm like cool. But if we're like getting books where everyone's like, oh, this is character focused, blah 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 blah, like I will be so bored.
Yeah.
Like I will literally be like,
Atlas 6. Tianna.
oh yeah, Atlas 6. Let me type it in here.
By Olivia Blake.
Okay, cool. So my next question is, what did you think about Devon's desperation to remain anonymous and also his friendship with Jack and his relationship with Dre? Let's just talk about Devon's life. What do we think?
What a mess.
So, live like this, bestie. That's what I said. I said, this is how we live.
The wish child.
Right. In the word, yes, 100%. 100%.
Right. Like, I was... Okay, maybe this is just because I am this way, but nothing is strong enough to keep me being friends with somebody who's like not like we could be friends for 12 years. The moment I feel something that makes me side eye, I gotta go. I gotta go. I'm packing my bags. I'm packing. And the things that Jack did, and Devon was still like, bestie. He was like, I miss you. You miss what?
Right.
What do you miss? What do you miss? What is the reason?
For Devon to be like a very introverted person and to like be a very private person was very disheartening for Jack's betrayal. Because again, I see so much of myself in Devon. I'm a very private person. Do I overshare? Yes. But like my best friend don't even know what I be doing. So I'm just looking at him and Jack like, child, I ought to drag you through the freaking coal mines for what you're doing with your bestie. Because it's against bro code. It's against friendship code. Like, no, we don't do that here.
No.
I was surprised. Like, so I would have, like, in an alternate universe, right? Devon has a lot of friends, and, like, Jack's the bestie. Like, HBIC. The friendship group would have gotten on his ass for dishing out Devon's secrets. Because you don't just do that. That's just disgusting.
Like friendship 101.
No, literally.
Yeah, it was also confusing to me. This comment is also why I'm curious about like what you guys think about the queerness in the book, because what did confuse me was Jack's reaction, because and my theory was that like Jack just wanted to be like the one special person that knows this thing about Devon, and now that Devon is like, you know, like exploring himself and like being in this relationship with Dre, Jack's like threatened or whatever. At some points of the book, I was like, are you having feelings? Is that why we're doing this? Is it jealousy? Because it was giving jealousy. Like, why else would you be so uncontrollably, chaotically bitter about your friend feeling like trying to feel comfortable in their sexuality?
I am straight, asexual, straight. But I would say that the queer homophobia that Jack held towards Devon is a sense of isolation tactics and torture tactics. You make the subject feel alone, questioning their friendship, the entire thing, and they're spiraling. Why? Because he's not friends with Chiamaka, so he's going to feel even more isolated. Being the only Black person in school and having that other Black friend usually is a solidarity thing that kind of works in this book, but here, you got to get that person alone, and then they're going to slay the line and then go out. I think that's what Faridah was going for.
Yeah, I like. It definitely felt like it was kind of like what both of you were saying, like the isolation thing, and also the fact that Jack knew this secret, and now that more people are knowing, and more people, and like Devon is exploring himself, he kind of doesn't feel as special to Devon anymore. He's just kind of like, oh, well, he might go away, and he's like, no, I need to, and it,
It was just so interesting because I think Jack is like, I don't want to say perfect example, but he's like the example of being in an abusive friendship.
Yes.
Because every time that Devon was like, oh, like kind of dipping his toe in water and being like, okay, maybe I want to make another friend. Maybe I want to explore something different. Like Jack was just like holding him so strongly. And it wasn't even because he wanted to be his friend. It's because he wanted the like title of like the only person that Devon can like confide in, that he can be comfortable around. And like he was like, my Black friend vibes.
It's giving Joseph Goldberg. I can only be your
not wife. Joseph.
Sorry. No, because I don't want to use it's that weird complex of like, no, I want to be your only obsession. Keep me. And it's also, I don't want to use the word Munchausen's, but the idea of like being wanted and needed and nurtured over, I think that's what also could have been Jack's thought processes as well.
Yeah, it was definitely like super strange, especially because I kept expecting something really bad to happen that was going to really make a huge blowout. And I mean, it obviously did, but I was just like tense the whole time because I didn't trust Jack from the beginning. I was like, something about you is fishy, and I don't know what it is, but something about you is fishy. So
I have a question now. Or are we going to talk about this later? So in regards to relationships, Chiamaka's relationship, how do you think? Okay, so
I'm going to bring that up next because we were talking about queerness and, well, we didn't touch on, real quick before we get into that, what did you think about Dre's character? Ooh. Well,
okay.
Joel?
I was back and forth.
Same. I'm glad we settled that. So moving on. To Miss Belle. Moving on to Belle and Chiamaka. That shook me up. And from the moment it started, I did not trust Belle.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but the fact that Belle was over here running around with what's his name? It wasn't Scotty, it was Jamie. Belle was like running around. Jamie was Chiamaka's best friend, and she was like in love with. The fact that Belle was like dating him, and then all of a sudden pivoted to Chiamaka made me really suspicious because I was like, no way is this about to be some cutesy sapphic relationship. I'm suspicious of this girl.
But also in real life, I'm not dating my best guy friend's girlfriend. Nor am I dating my girlfriend's girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not something I would do personally. That was weird.
Yeah, she jumped on it too quick. And Chiamaka was like so excited. This one, my God, got this comic popping up right as I was saying that. Yeah, like that happened so quickly that I was like, something about this doesn't feel right. And that's when I kind of started suspecting who Aces was, because I was like, why do all these people have such a strange, like it almost feels like they're all in agreement about something.
Well, no, I didn't think it was like an organization. I thought it was a person. Like when we get to the end, I'm like, what the fuck? When we get to the middle, I'm like, who is it? Who is it? Someone said this, someone said that on Tuesday evening at 4 p.m., but they also said this on Thursday evening. Like I was trying to connect the dots. Because typically I'm a good like plotter. I can like pick out like the end of the plot. So this one was like, oh, shiitake mushrooms, did not see this coming. Oh. But back to Bella and Chiamaka, I feel like that's where the isolation works. You already have a character who's best friends or HBIC cahooters. She can't trust them at all with her stuff. You see that on page 1 where she doesn't want to tell her friend about Jamie and her hooking up and being a thing. But then guess what? She knows now looks like a pathetic puppy because now Jamie's dating Bella. And now it's that thing. And the whole school thinks that it was a whole moment. But I was just you already have a character, and this is why isolation works so well. You have distrustment everywhere, and you got to find someone that can get, as someone said, she trusted Bella too quickly because she was a support for a friend. But also, we mistake affection for platonic, and like that's where I was like, baby girl, 2 steps back. 3 months, date someone for 3 months, then become their girlfriend. No.
I feel like just the fact that Belle had been dating Jamie, who had just like he had slightly just betrayed Chiamaka, and then like first she got exposed for whatever, like her whole thing with Jamie, whatever. Then Jamie starts dating Belle. Then Jamie and Belle have a whole thing where they like, I guess, break up, and then now it's Belle and Chiamaka's bringing her home.
Yeah,
girl.
Chiamaka is Nigerian, right? So
yes.
African families don't do that. Like
I was like, girl, like I don't know about like other Nigerian families, but like for me, my family, you meet my family,
you're engaged.
It's a big deal. Like even just like my friends meeting my family is a big deal. to me. I'm like, my parents know who you are. Behave. So like the fact that she just popped up and brought her home, I was like, you bringing this girl to your house like this? What's going on? I know you're not endgame, so what's going on?
I know you're not in it. Stop. Oh, we don't even know that to be true if they're in-game or not, because like something is going on there too.
Right. I think like so to this comment, I feel like where I also thought Aces was a group of people. I think
I wanted more Italian in this book, but that's just me.
Yeah. I don't know why for some reason I thought her dad was her stepdad or something, but no.
That's her daddy.
Yeah, she's half Italian, but I think it's interesting. Where was that comment that I was looking at? Okay, this one. I started suspecting that Aces was a group of people when Tianna was accused of stealing, and the way Jamie reacted literally triggered me. I was like,
yes.
I was like, oh no, he didn't just say that. And then I was like, it was a little bit, it was planned a little too well for me.
Yeah.
For it to only be one, because I was like, why at this candy store or whatever? There was no student. Like Chiamaka was like, I didn't see nobody. So then I was like, is the whole town involved? And then I was like, no, that's too crazy. That's too crazy.
For the guy really plays on like, we can't go camp because if we go full scale, after this book, the feelings of like, I already had PTSD, so like I already had paranoia, but my paranoia increased with this book of like, oh my God, I live in a there's Confederate flag outside my house. So I'm just like, wow, I live in an area where it could be a whole town of people. And at one point,
I'm sorry, my blood pressure just rose.
I just went, what?
Oh, so another point, I live on a street where a slave was killed and left for dead, and they put the name of the street after her. So like that's the deep South I live in. So when I finished this book, I was like sitting in my feelings for a minute. I was like, I really live in a place where KKK is just like policia central. So I was just like, wow, Faridah really said that. Like she really made an explosive statement that is true and can be true. Sundown counties are still a thing here.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, we really went to that scale and I liked it because it is and can be true.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like a dark turn.
It's fine.
Wait, what does this mean?
Oh my God. So U-Haul is like this, it's like a term for in like sapphic relationships where you meet somebody and then literally within like 2 days you've moved all your things into a U-Haul and you're moving in together. So that's what they're talking about because Chiamaka was like, Belle, come meet my parents. Belle, let's start watching.
When are they gonna get a cat?
Together. Right. So that's what this person is basically talking about. Bruh, you know what? You're not wrong at all. She was giving that vibe.
Giving RA vibe.
Like she was giving that vibe. So yeah. Going into my next question, which is relevant to this, there were a ton of betrayals throughout the book. Which ones kind of shook you up the most? Everybody in the comment also share which ones really just destroyed you.
I think I have mine.
You want to go first?
I think so. Mine was T. His little boyfriend. Trey? Is that his name? Terrell.
Yeah, I think his name is Terrell.
That's my cousin's name. So when I was reading this, I was like, not my cousin. Character. That one hurt me the most.
Your cousin in Ace of Spades shaking things up.
So when I read that part, after like the whole like, cute kissing at the playground, opening up, childhood trauma, living on the wrong side of the tracks, bonding moments, and then him being like, my sister's sick. But when he said his sister was sick, I was like, money.
I didn't trust him from the jump.
Money buys everyone. So I was like, I don't like this.
I don't know.
Yeah. I felt like his thing was the least surprising because I was like, it's a little too convenient that he showed up out of nowhere to be helpful.
Helpful.
Yeah.
Helpful.
Showering luck.
Right. He was over here like, Devon, you remember back when we were, like, it was a little too much. A little too heavy-handed for me. Yeah. The music teacher? That broke me because I feel like when you are a Black student in a like very, very, first of all, when you're a student of color, especially when you're a Black student, and
Mhm.
you have like one person with authority that believes you, supports you, is encouraging you to shoot for your dreams, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then for that teacher to turn around and start cackling.
And also to like
I was
to
like,
let you be a person, like let you like, miss class if you need to miss class and to like live your life. That was
mhm.
disheartening thing. So I'm just like, we need a break sometimes as students. And for that teacher to say, those days you've been missing, guess what? He ain't
Right. For him to
missing
switch
them.
up and be like, yeah, you really think a college is going to accept the fact that you're always skipping school? I was like, what do you mean?
Bitch.
I was like, Devon, pull up the emails right now.
Look at
You better have some. You
Say
better
the
have
evidence.
it's like,
some. Like, I'm going to say this now to anybody who's here. If you are a person of color, especially if you're a Black person, and anybody with authority tells you you can do something, make sure you email them and
Mhm.
be like, hey, such and such, as part our discussion on Tuesday afternoon. I do that all the time. I'm like,
I mean,
per the thing we discussed on Tuesday afternoon when you said blank, I will be doing that. Correct?
thank you.
Always.
no, I record my lectures. After one professor threatened to lynch our class, I looked at him like, you said what? He said it again. I had it on Zoom, recorded it, sent it to my office. I said, I'm not dealing with your shit. Nope. Not dealing with
Right?
it.
That was like when my lecturer said during a pre-recorded lecture, we were doing sexuality morality, and he was like, bisexuals are just greedy. And literally all the bisexuals literally were like, hands up. They were like, hello. And then all of us just went off. It was a glorious moment. But it was also on record. So you just have the recording of our lecture and all of us just arguing with our lecturer. It was great.
Like, that's just, yeah, it's not happened to me where I've had to like pull up a receipt.
Mm-hmm.
But I am somebody who always tries to be very, very careful, and I have seen it happen to people. So I'm always like, hey, Professor such and such, when I went to your office at noon on Friday, I got the documents that said blank, 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 and blank. And I'm just reminding you that this is what we talked about. Because also, if you like are in a workspace, corporate, whatever, that could save your life. Just say it. That could save your career. Just say it. But anyways, back to this.
Trauma bonding.
Terrell is typing.
Listen, we can learn a lot from their relationship, okay? I learned a lot from their relationship. Chanel knows she's in dating. Don't do it. Just don't.
Like, Terrell is the perfect example of somebody being too quick, too heavy, and he was like, let's talk about all our deep and darkest secrets.
Literally, I was like, no.
Right. And it's because
sadly, he sounds like an earth sign. I'm not even gonna cap.
Not that.
I'm an earth sign.
I just feel like it's funny that Devon and Tianna are so different. But one of the things that makes them so similar is the fact that they became like prey to people. They became prey to people who were like so ready to be like, oh, let's talk about everything that we've been going through. And they just like very quickly, very easily trusted these two people that were so heavy-handed. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah. It's kind of like that thing when like you're younger though and you're just like craving like affection or like attention from anyone, and then when someone gives it to you, you're kind of like, I don't feel so alone. So you feel like you need to open up to that person to keep them with you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's kind of like slightly being manipulated, but also just kind of like wanting to just keep a connection with someone because it's very rare for like them. So it was just kind of like,
Yeah. No, some people know exactly what they're doing when they're talking about their trauma. Like it's trauma porn. They like to use that to attach onto them. And again, when we're growing up, guys, gals, non-binary pals, we don't do that. If you don't feel comfortable sharing your stuff with them, leave it at that. Say, thank you for telling me. How can I assist you in feeling better? Do not open up your box of worms.
Yeah, I think things like love bombing, trauma bonding, those are things that can be really difficult to pinpoint when you are like either younger or if you're not experienced in being love bombed or in like really like heavy trauma bonding situations. It's going to obviously be harder to notice it, because it's not like something that's that you're aware of. So that was definitely something that while reading this book, I was like, I kind of hate it here. Can we move on? Like when Tianna and Belle were hanging out, I was like, can we move on?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, let's
that awkwardness wasn't just me. Like we all felt that awkwardness between that trauma bombing and love bombing stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely something. But as we went throughout the entire story, there are moments where we were like, I'm scared. Moments where we're like, oh, Tianna and Devon are such good friends. We love the vibe. I loved, emphasis on loved, that the relationship between the two of them was platonic.
Yes.
Between
Tianna and Devon.
Oh yeah.
I really loved
ever. I didn't see the
a dynamic.
Literally chef's kiss, because I think sometimes when you see books that are like a guy and a girl, like a lot of times people might expect, oh, it's gonna be romantic, like whatever. But then I just love that it wasn't, and it was like we're dealing with so much, because they were both dealing with especially Devon, like dealing with so much that was so heavy. So it was like, I'm glad that we're keeping this like a friendship vibe. I just really loved seeing them interact. You know what I mean?
It was giving what is that idiot's name from Gossip Girl that dated Serena first? What's his name?
Oh,
Hemfrey. Him.
Oh, are you talking about Dan?
Dan. It was giving Dan and Blair, and I really like that part when they're like at the computer lab, I think, and it's just like, I was here first, and I really like that banter, and I'm glad it didn't lead anywhere, because when I see romantic comedies and there's like two Black characters, I know off the bat that they want them to get together, but it just will never work out because the chemistry isn't there. You can still bank off of platonic chemistry. You can still bank
exactly.
I think that's what some writers have trouble getting across between same ethnic group couples. I'm like, it's okay. They can be friends. They don't have to love each other at all in that sense of manner. So I'm glad it stayed platonic and funny and light at times.
Yeah. I think that the Dan Blair, I don't know that Devon is that much of a Dan, but I know that Tianna is definitely Blair.
Yeah.
Do you think he would be Minnie? What's Serena's brother's name?
Eric?
Oh, are you talking about
is his name Eric?
Yeah. I thought you said Harry. I was like, Harry.
Harry.
It's Eric. Yeah, Eric. It was giving Blair and Eric. Okay. I think that's what I would say more likely, because if you watch Gossip Girl, then you know that Dan is not what we think Dan is.
I watched Gossip Girl when I was 15. 14. It's been some years.
Not it's been some years, but yeah, I think just like overall this book just did such a good job with the character work, and there were parts of the book that was like, okay, this is a lot and I'm feeling quite traumatized and emotional. But I liked how it ended. What do you guys think about the ending? You would remember that.
I was just being like, I also quite liked the ending. I think it just managed to do enough that it settled like the book's themes and like what needed to be done, essentially. Like Faridah gave what needed to be gave.
Yeah, I feel like the ending was never going to be something that was like, oh, now we're walking into the rainbow. And we're holding hands and kumbaya.
I feel like I would have been disappointed if it did that.
Yeah. Same. I would have felt like it was too easy. And it was like everything is wrapped up super, super quickly. And I think that would have just been like a sour ending to the whole book's seriousness. So I feel like how it ended, there was no other way it could have ended. You know what I mean? Without it being like, you know, my main issue with the book is that I do not understand why this. Yeah, I will say that I understand what you're saying by this, but I think that for me, I didn't even have that question because this felt like something that genuinely happens.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a predominantly white institution. Like we get this all the time in the UK with predominantly white universities. Like racism is apparent. Like it's not something that's like not there. And like I think it kind of made like it just didn't seem like unbelievable to me that there'd be like this like society of people, because it could and would happen with like people, and like it was one of those things where I was like, oh, this is just basic, because you have societies at universities, so I was just like, this is just something that's more so like just like underground.
Yeah.
Can I do a little history moment with everyone? Because there's reasons why this does exist. We have the thing called the Daughters of the Confederacy. When the Confederacy realizes that they're losing the war, that Lincoln is going to get his wish and have one house under God, the daughters decide to start educating these niche racist prejudice ideas into what we call the Southern antebellum that continued into the Reconstruction period. So racism is a learned behavior. It's not something that you just like pick up. Well, I guess it is something you pick up. It's not something that just like, I don't know how to explain it, but that's how we have this here. We have these societies that still give out scholarships to this very day to private-owned universities in Virginia, believe it or not. So it's not like, oh, well, this is not something that can or will never happen. It's still happening. You just can't detect it. I think that's another thing with the Black experience in America or anywhere. We have to look out for these things. It's a very like dog whistle politics. You have to be able to pick out on those certain tones. And that's why I feel like people that didn't understand the book as much is because it wasn't meant for you. And that's not a mean thing to say. It's just because we are able to recognize that it's not a nonfiction book, or it's not a fiction book. It is an actual reality that is happening. It continues to happen.
I feel like also the thing is, I understand this question, and I definitely can see, again, like why you would say this. I think when I read this, like I said, I personally felt like, yeah, this is something that definitely has happened and is happening, especially because a lot of times with the two-student thing, because I know you commented about two students, as somebody who is the only Black student in her entire program,
same,
you sometimes feel like being admitted into a school feels like torture because whenever you bring up anything, people are like, well, anyways, or they'll like immediately shut you down, or you feel like you're constantly both being ignored and also being highlighted. So that's why I think the two Black student thing is relevant, because it does happen. I mean, honestly, two Black students, I don't want to say is a lot, but again, as somebody who's the only Black in their program, I would kill to have a second Black student.
I would, like in my undergrad, I was literally I was either the only Black student or one of two Black students in my classes. And then at graduation, I was the only like Black boy graduate. Well, I literally was the only Black boy in my entire program.
So and I liked how Faridah chose to not do same sex for me, because typically in my honors classes in university and in high school, I was always a Black girl, another Black boy. We never knew each other like in the book. We just knew each other. That's it. So again, it's very realistic to have one Black boy, one Black gal in the entire program, and then one of one gender to be in the entire program as well. And I'm actually taking a course about racist America. Why does she call Black people the Blacks? I want to throttle her. So it's realistic, and the book was meant for us.
Yeah, I think this is definitely fair. And at the end of the day, reading is definitely something that's very subjective. So you're going to see things differently. So that's completely fair. I do think it's definitely funny, though, when you read books like this and you're like, some people will be like, oh, wow, there's only two of them. And it's like, yeah, I wish
there were more.
I wish there was at least one more so we could be two.
We might get a sequel. I'm holding out for a sequel.
I don't think we're going to, because she has said that this is going to be a standalone and she wants it to end there. And I kind of like that, because I don't want to see more.
Yeah. I would take another book set in the same universe. Yeah. But not the same characters.
Yeah. I meant like the secret society that they have and like staunching out those things. That's what I want to see more from her. I do know that. I know her and Tracy talk on the timeline about doing a fantasy. I'm just like, please give me fantasy.
Literally, every time Faridah talks about writing a fantasy, I'm literally like, I'm right here if you need help with fantasy. Like, I will literally just DM, like we DM like quite often, so I'm just literally like, I will literally just like help you with world building and chat.
I just give her recipes. That's about it.
Not recipes. And I'm over here like, yeah, we just talking about Netflix. So, yep, that's so interesting. I'm really glad. Oh, recommend.
Ooh.
Okay, I'll probably be checking that out. We'll see. I'll probably read that at some point. But that is all we have for discussing Ace of Spades. If anyone wants to say any last, not last words, but any last thoughts.
Questions, problems, concerns, thoughts?
Yeah, anything else you want to share lastly? Also, do you guys want to recommend one other thriller or horror? It doesn't have to be YA that you have enjoyed that you think the audience might like.
Where's she at?
What did I'm trying to think of like horror thriller books that I've read, and I'm like,
not me asking this question and being like,
do I know any?
Okay. Wolf of Orniaro. It reads as if horror fantasy. It is high fantasy. Trigger warning for essay, drug use, grief. I don't know what to say about it. And then A Lesson of Vengeance was really heebie-jeebie. I enjoyed it. Trigger warning for suicidal thoughts, alcoholism, depression, and mental health.
Amazing. I'm gonna recommend two. I'm gonna recommend a classic. I'm gonna recommend a translated piece of fiction. Translated piece of fiction is Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Bazterrica. Cannibalism. That's all I need to say. It's like really unsettling, but also it's really cool. I really like the way that it's like handled, and like the ending is unsettling in and of itself. For the classic, I'm going to give I don't know. I might say right. I might say Frankenstein, like purely because I like the gothicness of it, and like gothic is just amazing. Like basically, just read anything gothic.
Frankenstein, amazing. I love Frankenstein.
It's definitely it's hit or miss for some people purely because of the way it's written. But like if you don't like it, that's absolutely fine, because like I have friends that literally hate it because of the way it's written. So, but then I also have people that really love it because of the way it's written. So it just depends on the type of reader that you are.
I guess my recommendation would be, I didn't give this one 5 stars, and I didn't give it 4 either. However, I feel like this is a book that I want more people to read because I want to know what more people think about this book. And it is The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. This is a book about twins. It's set in Australia, and one of the twins is autistic and the other one is not, and they're like adults, right? And so the autistic sister has decided that she's going to have a baby for her sister who can't get pregnant. And when I tell you that I wish I could explain what I thought this book was going to be, but it was not.
It was not
what I thought it was going to be. There is so much more in this book than I ever thought I would get from a book.
Not the Goodreads page looking different.
And I just think that the book talks about so many different things that I don't see a lot of thrillers talking about. Like, it talks about mental health in a way that is not like, oh, this person has a mental illness, therefore they're a killer. It's not just that. Like, there's so much that's discussed with there's a lot of like family trauma involved. There's a lot of like, there is themes of sexual assault in like a memory in the past. So keep that in mind, and then look up other like triggers and stuff as well. Which I think on Storygraph you can see what triggers people or like warnings people have listed. So go make a Storygraph account. Anyways, yeah, it's so interesting because one of the sisters works at a library, and when I tell you the romance aspect of this book,
it had you in a chokehold.
I was believing in love. I was believing in love, and one of the reasons why I really liked this book was because I do not often see characters who are autistic in love.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like the guy was also autistic. Because, and that's another thing I don't see, which is why I'm like, this book had so many things that I never see in thrillers.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why I'm recommending it. It's called The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. It has like Well, I don't know what the UK cover will look like, but
I'll have a look.
or what the other covers will look like. But it has like some pink flowers and then this blonde woman behind a window looking like she's fading away.
Oh,
Really loved it.
the UK cover does not look good.
Oh. Not that. I gotta look.
Wait, I have one more. The Harpy. Hold on. The Harpy by Margaret. We read it for our book club, the Vintage Books and Wine Club, and basically, she catches her husband cheating, and she agrees, or they both agree, that she gets to hurt him a lot of 3 times, and you get to explore her evolution. The Harpy. It's by Megan Hunter. It was a fun book club read. I gave it a 2 stars, but I need everyone to read it. I should because I think everyone should experience it.
Well, I looked at the UK cover and it's definitely ugly, so I hate that for you.
Yeah, it's not great. It doesn't look good.
Ugly. Yeah, but I definitely need more people to read this book just because I need to hear what people are thinking. Because I was like, what? Why did nobody say this book had such and such and such rep? Like, so anyways, and I love thrillers about twins. Probably because I'm not a twin, so it doesn't terrify me anyway. We have no twins in our family. So anyway, thank you so much to everyone for joining today's live show for Ace of Spades. And thank you to my 2 wonderful co-hosts for being here.
Thank you for having me.
If you guys are going to read anything else with us, again, go check out the book club Instagram and also check out both Joel's and Tianna's socials that I have linked down below. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you, or I will see you, in the next live show. Goodbye.